All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 7 p.m. and we're ready to get started for another exciting session. Today, you are with Mr. Ray, and we are about creating real estate millionaires, baby. And today we're going to be talking about how can we find the best deals that we can out there in the market, no matter what market that you're looking. I'm going to share with you today some things that's going to help you to identify the places that you can go to find deals. All right. It's all about finding the right deals. Remember, I told you, don't fall in love with the house, fall in love with the numbers. The money is made when you buy the deal, not when you sell it. So you got to buy it right. So we're going to be talking about how we're going to buy it right. I want to spend a lot of time on the web today. So I'm going to go through the presentation, hopefully within 15 minutes. And then I want to spend the rest of the time going through some of these sites where I can show you guys where you can find some of these houses and how to search for them. All right, so ground rules are as usual. Everybody's going to stay muted. Continue to ask your questions in the comments and chat section as I'm going through it. I'll probably try to stop after every few slides, give us an opportunity to give you some feedback on some of those questions. And as usual, I do need your feedback in order to make these sessions the best sessions they can be. Got to start with a Rayism, baby. The Bible says that for whom much is given, much is going to be required, and to whom men have committed much, of him we will ask more. And so if God has blessed you, if he has given you abundance, he's given you gifts, talents, abilities, all those things are not just for you. They're to be shared with others that you might bless them. And so if you don't use the gifts and talents that's been given to you, guess what? Then he may take them away from you. So one of the things that I'm inspired to, given this particular scripture, is that I know God has blessed me and has given me some knowledge, skills, and abilities that I'm going to be held accountable and responsible for sharing that with you guys, and that's what I'm doing. So make sure that you're using those gifts and those talents so God can bless others through you. All right, Rayism for your eargasm. All right, let's talk about our agenda today. We're going to be talking about two types of deals. I'm going to share with you two types of deals, how you can find wholesale deals. And those wholesale deals are deals that these are hard work. You got to get out there and hustle for these deals. They're not going to fall in your lap. So you got to be doing direct mailings. You're either driving for dollars, you're advertising, you got bird dogs out there that's looking for stuff. You're putting out street signs. You're looking for to negotiate directly with homeowners on these types of deals. That's where you're going to find the good wholesale deals. But then there's market deals. There's deals that can be had online. They're not wholesale, but you can still find them 10%, maybe 20% discount on some of these things. So I'm going to take you through some of the auction sites, the HUD Homes, auctions.com. We'll look at those. I'll take you to the sheriff's sale site, and where you can see where the sheriff's sale happens. I believe every other Tuesday. I used to go to those, don't go anymore, but I'll give you some insight on those. And I'll give you some info on these tax sales that happen every year in Oklahoma County. So if you're not in Oklahoma, these tax sales still take place in your local jurisdiction. You just got to find out when and where. And then we'll go online and look at the Zillow, Trulia, LoopNet, all the stuff that's got all the market stuff out there. And then you can find some deals if you get a good real estate agent that caters to investors. You can find good deals with them also. So let's go on through here. So what are some of the characteristics of a wholesale deal? For me, as a real estate investor, the wholesale deal is the deal that I'm looking for, because that's the deal that I can make the most money. But these deals are hard to come by. You got to really, it's like searching for diamonds or for gold. They're not going to be had readily. You got to work for these. And these are properties that you can purchase for 30 to 60% of the after repair value, the market value, or whatever you can sell it for, right? These are properties that can be purchased at a steep discount. But you got to have cash, baby. You got to have cash, or you got to have hard money lenders, because you're not going to be able to say, hey, wait till I go down to the bank, get some finance, and we can close this thing in 30, 40 days. No, you got to be willing to close in 7 to 14 days on these wholesale deals. And a lot of times, these properties are purchased without seeing the interior. You can drive by them and see them, but a lot of times you won't be able to see the inside unless there's a window or something open. Banks are not going to they're not going to finance these types of property. We talked about that when we talked about how you finance real estate. Banks are not looking to do deals on properties that need a lot of rehab. Again, if it needs extensive rehab, banks not going to fool with it. But these are properties, hear me now, these are the properties that offer the most potential for you to profit, either as a flipper or as a buy and hold guy, because these are the deals that you need to get in, again, 30 and 60% of the ARV. So where do you find these properties, Mr. Ray? Well, we talked about the strategy. You got to get out there and hustle. You're looking for properties that are run down, weeds are growing up, the windows are boarded up, nobody lives there, right? You're driving, you're trying to find out who the owner is, get a hold to them so you can deal with them directly. You can be sending out direct mailings out here. You see these "We Buy Home" signs everywhere. These are guys out there hustling, trying to get these homeowners who are in distress, who can't keep up with the properties, and they're trying to get them for pennies on the dollar. So those are some strategies. You can drive for them, you can do mailings, put out street signs, or you can just buy them from wholesalers that already have them. Requirement, cash, baby. You got to have cash on these deals. And you got to have the ability to convince sellers to sell to you. Why would they want to sell this property to you? Who are you? They don't know you from a man in the moon. So you got to build trust. You got to be able to go in and know what your number is, what your maximum allowable offer is, and you got to be able to assess what it's going to take to get that property up from the standpoint of being able to rehab it. Knowledge of contracts and negotiations is very, very important in this. So you got to be able to write that contract up really quick. Make sure you got the right contingencies in there. So if you need to get out of them, you got the right contingency there. But more so, you got to be able to negotiate with that seller and convince them that you're going to get this property for a good price for you and for them. So everybody's going to be happy, and it's going to be a win-win for everybody. And then you got to be able to do a quick title search to determine who owns the property, and are there any liens on the property that would not allow you to be able to have that title transferred to you cleanly, right? You got to have a clean title, so you got to understand the ability to go into the county, wherever county that you're at, and do a quick and dirty title search. And I can teach you that, but I'm not going to teach you that today. And then you got to be good at determining what's the value of that property when it's all said and done, right? At the end of the day, if you want to sell it at the end, you got to know what it's going to be worth. Or if you're going to put it in your portfolio as a buy and hold, and you want to turn around and refinance it, it's very, very important to know what that ARV is going to be. So as we continue, there's a lot of places, again, that online auctions are happening all the time. HUD Homes and VA Homes are out there, and we'll go to those sites. Auctions.com. And then there are two types of foreclosures, and I think we've talked about this before, but as a reminder, there's pre-foreclosures and there's foreclosures. So let's talk about them a little bit. So pre-foreclosures, these are properties that the bank has sent them a notice, put them on notice, you're behind, you're probably at least 3 months behind, and they have filed, the bank has filed what they call a less pendants, and that's filed down at the county saying this particular homeowner is behind and we're about to foreclose on them. Again, you can get in there and negotiate with the owner before the bank actually closes them. They may be 3 months behind, they may be 4 months behind, but if you can get in there and cut a deal with them and you can get that whatever they're behind brought up to date, and go ahead and cut a deal on the price of the property, especially if they got a lot of equity in it. You can find some good deals. But again, it requires time, money, and patience, baby. You got to know what you're doing. And then there's foreclosures. These are properties that after the bank has foreclosed on, the bank now owns them. We call them REOs. That's real estate owned by banks, right? And a lot of times the banks will take these properties back at the auction. They'll go in at the auction, and the auction, it won't sell, so the bank will get it back, and now they'll use real estate agents to sell those properties for them. If it's a HUD home, then HUD will put it on their site, and we'll go to their site, and we'll get a chance to look at some of those properties. But basically, once it's foreclosed, the bank is basically trying to sell that asset and get it off their books. They don't want to be in the housing business. They're in the lending business. They want to lend money to people, but when people don't pay it, they got to take it back, and then they got to sell the property again. So that's a lot in a little space of time about wholesales. Anybody got any questions up to this point on wholesale deals? We talked about that before, but you might have some questions anyway. Anybody got any questions on that? Wholesale deals where the money made, babe, but it's hard work. You got to get out there and hustle. So when we're talking about live auctions, so usually at an auction, whoever owns the property, whether it's the bank or whether it's the owner, they usually start those auctions at 2/3 of whatever the property is worth, right? So if it's a $100,000 property, it's going to be 2/3 of that, about $60,000 is where they'll start on the bidding on that process. And so when you walk into the live auction, you're given a number, and you'll put down your name, your address, and all this stuff, who the title's going to be in, and then you are able to bid on those properties by raising your hand whenever they ask you, this was going for 100. Do you bid 100? Yeah, I'll bid 100. Next guy say, oh, I'll bid 200, and then you go on for them until you get to the end, and whoever has the highest bid wins that particular bid. Again, goes to the highest bidder. The winning bid has to make a cash payment, usually within 30 days of that auction, right? So a lot of times when they have an auction, they'll take the first, second, and third bidder. That's just in case the first bidder, he bid on it, but he's not able to close in 30 days, then they'll go to the next highest bid, and that's the one that'll get the property. So, and when you're talking about auctions, we're talking about cash, baby. You got to have cash ready to go in 30 days. You ain't got time to run down and get a bank loan on it, right? And it's normally, you don't even get to look and see the inside of the property. You get to view the outside of property. You get to see it from that, because a lot of times the owners are still living there when they're getting ready to foreclose on them. So this is what I call a blind bid. You're going blind, baby. You see the outside of the property. A lot of times you can't even walk around to the back. So all you get to do is drive by it and see what it looks like before you make a bid. So you really got to know what you're doing when you're going to these live auctions. Now, the second type of house is what most of you all will probably be looking at, and I call these market deals. Again, these are properties that you can buy. They probably need cosmetic work. You can go and do carpet. You can paint them up. I mean, they're pretty close to market value, but sometimes you can get them 10, 20% discount. Just depends on how long they've been on the market, right? So you can find these deals out there at HUD Homes, auctions.com. These deals can be had at the sheriff sales. We talked about that, tax sales, Zillow, and so forth. So these deals are out there, and I'm going to show you some of them. So let's go to the web and let's see what we got. You guys can ask me any questions while we're going out here to the web. All right, so the first site is the where you can find HUD Homes. You guys see that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. So HUD Homes are all over the country, right? So if I want to look for HUD Homes that are in Oklahoma, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to find Oklahoma, and I'm going to click on Oklahoma, right? So it's going to bring me all the properties. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger for you guys over here. You can see it a little bigger. All right. So here's all the Oklahomas. As you can see, here's one. This Elk City, Cushing, Guthrie, and so forth. So if I just want the ones in Oklahoma City, I gotta go in and I gotta pare it down a little bit, right? So I'll say up here, the city I want is Oklahoma City. And then I'm gonna do a new search. So the search didn't bring up any. Hold on, let me try Oklahoma County. Let's do Oklahoma County. Probably get a few more here if I can spell Oklahoma right. So let's do a search. There's got to be some in Oklahoma County. Let me back out here, guys. Let me go back. Let me do a zip code. Let's try a zip code. I know 73110. That's Midwest City. See if we find some any in Midwest City. Back out again. There's something I'm not doing right here. Let me clear everything out again. Try this again. My state is Oklahoma. Let's just start there and see what, so that's Oklahoma. So I ought to be able to do Oklahoma County. Let's try that. Do a new search. And it's not giving me Oklahoma County. Maybe we don't have it in Oklahoma County. Let me just back out to Oklahoma and see what we got. So we got Guthrie, we got Indianola, we got Hugo. So it doesn't look like we got any HUD properties in Oklahoma County. That's unusual. Got Bixby, Owasa. Is that how you pronounce that? Owasa. But so we don't have any HUD homes in Oklahoma County. That is very unusual. I haven't been out here in a while, but normally they've got some properties here as you look at. So let's just look at one property here and see. So they'll have property price, they'll have the bed, number of bath, and when the bidding date starts, right? So let's look at this one property in Elk City. This property here is was listed on October 6th. It's in what they call the extended period, which means it's probably been out here for a little bit. As you can see, they got some pictures for you. You can scroll through the pictures and kind of see what it's like. Now, these homes on HUD, you got to go and get with a real estate agent to submit a bid on these, right? Now, I'll say that's the case. In the past, you've always had to have a real estate agent to bid on it because there's such a process that you got to go through, and they got all these different requirements, all these forms that you have to fill out. They have a lot of stuff. It's an FHA home. They got some other qualifications. So, but you can find deals here. I bought, let's see, I bought two of my homes as a HUD home, but it's been many, many years ago. So here's the HUD home. Anybody got any questions on the site? And all you got to do is go to HUDHomestore.com, right? And that's where you'll find all the properties that HUD has repossessed and that they are now in possession of, that they're selling to the public. Any questions?
Hey, Mr. Ray, what if you bought a house and from an auction or one of these HUD, and you go to the house and there's somebody living in there, like, but they're not paying, they're like homeless, basically. They're like a squatter.
Right. What's your question? What do you do?
Yeah, how do you get them out, like when they won't leave?
Oh, well, yeah, you just, you hand them an eviction notice. Right? Usually what happens though, if you're buying a HUD home, they've already foreclosed on them and evicted them. For the most part, you won't find anybody living in those homes. They have already evicted them before they ever put them on this site. But there are people that will stay in those homes after they've even been evicted, right? Because they'll have the eviction notice and maybe the sheriff didn't come out and evict them and they're still there. But you still have to go through the proper procedures to get people evicted. You just can't throw them out, show up there with your gun and run them off. You can't do that. You still have to follow the law, and eventually you'll get them out. The sheriff will come out, and eventually he will escort them off the property. Any other questions on the HUD homes? All right, let's go to the next one. This is the sheriff's sale. So in Oklahoma County, I believe we have, this is the sheriff's sale. You see Oklahoma County sheriff's sale. You can just type in Google Oklahoma County sheriff's sale, and then you can get to this site. So this is where they announced that they're going to be having the sale. And let's see, you can click here to pre-register for the sale. All right, so you'll go here, put all your information here, and you can get pre-registered before you ever get down to the sale. Now, here's the listing, so you can find out the property that's coming up for sale. So you click that, and this is where you'll see, it'll give you some information about the sale. Let's click this here. So it tells you a little bit about what some of the requirements are. You got to put a down payment of at least 10% within 24 hours of you winning the sale. The remaining 90% is going to be done. Remember I said 3 to 4 weeks after the sale. Certified funds only have to be made payable to the county clerk, and they're not taking any checks, baby. It's got to be all certified funds. So I want to see, so the next sale is going to be November the 5th. That's coming up on Thursday. If you'll click the down arrow, you'll see there's 2 sales this month. There's one on the 5th and one on the 19th. So let's go in and look at the sale, the properties that's going to be available on the 5th. Click that. Here's your property. So the first property here is 8145 Northwest 26th Street. And we know that here's the case number, here's the date of the sale. These are the who has the lien on it. In this case, Tinker Federal Credit Union. Here's the attorney representing them. Here's the appraised value. So the bidding will start at 2/3 of that appraised value, which will be what should say 66, about $49,000. That's where the bidding will start, right? And they'll bid that up. And a lot of times, the last few sales I've been to, they've been bidding these values up to pretty much the appraised value. So that's why I say it's hard to find good deals, especially you got a lot of people showing up for the sheriff's sale, and they're just looking to buy houses. They're not really caring how much they pay for them. In many cases, they're just bidding them up to market value. And a lot of times, if it doesn't sell close to market value, the bank is there also, and they'll be bidding on it to make sure that it gets up there. And then the bank may decide that they're not getting enough for it, and so the bank will make the last bid. Again, that's when it turns into a bank-owned property and an REO property, and then they'll take that back and they'll try to sell that on the MLS or Zillow or something like that. But here are all the properties that's going to be up for sale. Now, remember I told you about pre-foreclosures? If you were able to negotiate a deal with one of these individuals on here prior to November the 5th, let's say today is the 2nd, you got 3 days, you can still negotiate a deal with this seller to try to get this house before it goes to a sale. Now, the clock is ticking, but if you're able to get to the seller and you're able to get down there and get this loan paid off and pulled before it gets here, then you can get the property. That's pre-foreclosure. But once it gets here, it's pretty much foreclosed on, and you can't stop it, right? So here are these properties. Any questions on sheriff sales? These are happening at every state in this country. There are sheriff sales that's going on. Some of them they happen right on the county steps, but these are taken downtown Oklahoma City. Any questions? Every now and then you can find a deal here. Again, if you show up and nobody's bidding on it, you might just luck out and get the property. Here's one. The appraised value is $35,000. So let's look at. I'm sorry. When you see recall right here, that means they came in and they paid for it. So this one won't go up for bid when you show up for Thursday. And so you always look at that and make sure it's not recall. And a lot of times by the time you get down there on Thursday, a lot of them have been recalled. So let's just look at one here. This is the first one up here is 8145 Northwest 26. Let me just go to my Zillow. We'll type that in. We're going to be looking to buy 8145. What did I say that was? $81.45 Northwest 26. So here's this property here. Zillow says it's worth $125. Let's go back and see what they said at the sheriff's sale. Sheriff's sale said the appraised value is 75. So you might be able to get a deal for this one, right? But it might need some work. Let's look at, doesn't that really have pictures? Again, you're just going to have to go and drive by the property before you make a bid on this. Again, you won't be able to see the inside. You don't know what the inside's like. So you're taking a risk on what the expected repairs are going to be on that. Any questions on the sheriff's sales? So this particular one might be a good deal. It says that the Zillow estimates at 125. They're going to start the bidding at 2/3 of $75,000, which is about $49,000. Might be able to get a deal on this, but you don't know the condition of the property, right? It may be half burnt by the time you get over and take a look at it. So that's some of the risks that you take when you do these type properties. So that's the sheriff's sale. Any questions?
I have a question. So the reason why the bank appraised it at 75, were they the last ones to really look at it? Is that why it's awarded too low?
I'm sure the bank is saying that they probably not going to get anywhere near that 125. So they probably want to get rid of it. So they'll show an appraised value a little bit lower. Yes, sometimes they'll do that.
Okay.
Like here's one right here for 12,000 appraised value. That's probably just land. You know, they probably don't even have a house on it. But there are probably some nice homes like this one right here, 100 Northwest 161st. That's up there in Johnny's neck of the wood, up there with the rich folks. That's for 230, baby. 2/3 value of that. So they up there. So you find all kind of properties on here. Again, from that 12,000 we saw, which again is probably land. But you get them out. The good thing about this though, if you buy a property from the sheriff's sale, you know you're gonna get clear title, because the sheriff, whenever they foreclose on this property, it extinguishes everything that's on that property. So you know you're gonna get clear title here, so you don't have to really do a title search on these properties. Any questions? All right, that's all for sheriff's sale. Let's talk about the county resale. Every year, the county sells property, and you can find this. This particular one is Oklahoma County, and it's the resale. And this happens every June. What they do is all the properties in Oklahoma County that are at least 3 years behind in their taxes, if they haven't paid it at the end of that third year, they're going to sell it the following June, and it's going to be open to any and all that want to purchase those properties. And so they're selling it for the taxes that's owed. But a lot of times they'll bid that price up way over what the taxes are owed on that property. And some people have, what do they do with that extra money? Well, that money goes back to the owners of the property. Let's say they only owed $5,000 in taxes. The property sold for $70,000. That difference is still going to go to that owner because the county just sold their property. So they still have invested interest in that. If they have a loan on that property, then that $60,000 is going to go to pay off that loan. Okay. So here's the instructions here. I'm going to show you what the list looks like. But the sale, this particular sale is going to happen this past June on the 5th. Some of you may even went to this sale. And so they have a registration period. You go in, you register. And again, this is certified funds only. You either show up with cash or you show up with cashier's checks, certified funds, something. The only way you can purchase each property, you got to have cash on that day. You don't get 30 days to pay this off. You got to pay it on that day, right? And again, the bidding works the same way. The highest bidder gets it. And so if you're the highest bidder, you're going to get the property, and within 2 to 3 days, you're going to get title to that. Now, I got to tell you a little bit about the title that you're going to be getting on these type property. This type of title does not extinguish anything, any other liens that's on the property. So again, they got this big note on here, buyer beware, right? Buyer beware. You are purchasing this property, and they got all this stuff on here. You can read through it when you go to the site. But basically, it's saying we're going to give you title to the property, but you might not get a clear title, right? It may have some. This particular individual may have some tax liens. They may have been out there to cut the weeds down and to board up the property. They probably got some liens on it for that. So again, you just got to be able to go and do some quick and dirty searches to make sure that the property that you're buying is not going to have more liens on it than what you're paying for, right? But I'm going to show you guys, we're going to this sale in June of 2021. 2 weeks before, I'm going to teach you guys how to go through this list and pick out properties that we're going to potentially go out and try to get the owners before it gets to this sale. I'm going to show you how to do that. And we're going to end up, I promise you, we're going to get 1 or 2 properties. So what I'm going to do is we're going to split up the list. I'm going to show you what to look for. I'm going to show you how to do the search to look, make sure ain't no liens on it or anything. And we're going to find some potential properties. We're going to go out and we're going to present some offers. We're going to buy some properties. If you're in the game with me, then you get some of those properties. But even if you don't have money to purchase them, you still can help, and you can get that $300, $500 finder's fee for bringing properties to Mr. Ray that he can buy. So I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be some really intense training, and I promise you, we're going to pick up a couple of properties this year, because I bought properties just like this in the past 2 weeks ahead of time. I picked up the list that they had. I knew the area. I knew some of these properties were already boarded up, that nobody wanted anything to do with them. I found out who the owners was, and I was able to cut some deals with them. Because my deal, here's my pitch. You're going to lose this property next week anyway, right? You're not going to get anything for it. But if you sell it to me, at least you get that for it, right? There you go. And all I got to do is go down and pay the taxes on it and pay them off and get them out of the house and get it off this list. I own the property free and clear. You say, well, Ray, it may have some liens on it. It may. If I get it at a good deal, I really don't care, because I'm going to buy and hold it. And at some point, if I want to, I can have the title cleared, right? I can go in and we can do a title search. I can give it to an attorney, and we can go and clean that title up and make sure everything is good. That way, if I want to in the future, I can put a loan on it. So that's the tax sale. And here's the publication. Here's what it looks like. So this will be published. This is what the list looks like. See if we can make that a little bit bigger. So here it is. Here's the properties that'll be available. What they give you is the addition, the lot, the block number, who the owner is, and what the taxes are that are owed on this. For this particular property, let me see if I can blow this up a little bit more for you. So this property here, they don't give you the address. So you're gonna have to find it by this number right here, right? That's the number that you're gonna be searching and finding. So let me show you how you find that number. Again, I'm gonna teach you guys how to do this, but real quick and dirty, I'll show you real quick how we can find that particular number. So I would go to Oklahoma County, property search. See, just put your property search in there. You want to search the records. And that number, let me go back and get that number. Hold on, I got too many open now. What's that? 01-672-5280. I think that was it. You just cut and paste it. It makes it better. Where's my publication? Hold on. One 672-5280. Okay. Well, for some reason it's not working. Anyway, you would put the, let's see if we can find it by the subdivision. We also had a subdivision number. You know what? I'm not going to spend time going through that right now. I'm going to train you guys extensively how to find those properties, okay?
Mr. Ray, it says on that blueprint, it says that the letter R must be included in the account number. So when you're searching, you have to have that R.
I hate it when somebody knows more than I know about this. Hold on. All right, so R016, let me see if I can cut and paste that. Should be able to cut and paste that. Who's that gonna get a gold star if this works? Didn't work. I still must be typing it in wrong. Let's try one more time. If we don't get it this time, we're gonna leave it be.
Yeah, it's case sensitive.
It probably is. Hold on. It's my resale. 01-672-5280. 01-672-5280. Right? There it is. Wow. Imagine if you put it in right, it works. So you would go find that property. There it is. You can see there's a picture of it. And you get a lot of good information here on the property. There's the address. And see, before we didn't have the address. Now we know what the address is. We know who owns it. So the physical address, usually if they have a mailing address here, they're out of town, you could mail to that, but we know they still live in there, right? And you got certain information here. Last time it was sold was back in 1994 for $36,000. So this property, they probably own it free and clear, right? So there probably not any mortgage on it, but they could have took a second mortgage on it, and you'd have to go and search that, and I can show you how to find that. But this property says the last value was $75,000. That's what the county says it's worth, $75,000. That's what they put taxes on it for. Let's see. So this is a good site that many of you probably have gone to before. It's got a lot of good information on it. So, but that's how you find those properties, right? So we go back to the resale. So we go down through. I'd show you guys which areas we want to focus on, which properties we're looking for, what to look for, quick and dirty, so that we can get down to the few properties that are really the ones that we have an opportunity to buy, and then we try to get them before the sale. But because if we wait to the sale, they're going to be bidding them up. If we get them here, and this list, this is a long list. It's probably got, when they first put it out, it's probably got close to 2,000 properties, right? Each one of these is up for sale, but a lot of stuff is junk. There's a lot of land on here. There's a lot of commercial stuff on here, and I'll show you how to weed out and just get down to the single family property. There's gold in these pages right here, I promise you. And if you can get them before they get to the sale, that's where you make your money. Questions? Comments?
I'm seeing some of them are listed with attorneys. Are you contacting the attorney, or are you figuring out ways to actually contact the owners?
This is a tax sale. There ain't no attorneys involved in this. Now, when we talked about the sheriff's sales, the attorneys were involved in this.
Yeah.
But they're not involved in the tax sale. It's only the county. As you see, let's say this particular one right here, you see the taxes for 2017, 2018, and 2019. 2018, 2019. And here's the taxes that they're going to be selling for. 2016 was $735. 2018 and 19 was $1,300. You add both of those up, and that's what they're selling the property for. 2/3 of that at what's owed, not what the value of the property is. 2/3 of what's owed on it, right? I'm sorry, reboot. It's 2/3 of what they think the property is worth, and they'll use again that they'll use that $75,000 as they're starting. 2/3 of that is what they'll start with. I'm sorry, I got confused there real quick. Questions? All right, so we talked about HUD Homes, we did sheriff sales, we did county sales. Let's see, let's look at one more. So the other place you can just find it just on Zillow, right? And so if you go to Zillow, and so I have these, let's go over here. So I have saved homes and I got saved searches, right? And so my saved home, these are homes that I watch. And so I go in and I put my criteria in. I'm looking for homes between 100,000 and 150,000, right? And so these are some of the homes that come up. So I star them. These are homes that's going to show under my save. If I click that, it will unsave that house, right? And so as you going through, I can save homes by zip code. I can save homes by number of bedrooms. I mean, you got all the different criteria that you can put in to determine the type of homes that you're looking for. These just happen to be some of the homes that I keep on my radar, and I'm always watching and I like homes that's been on the market or in Zillow or on the MLS for 30 days or more. That way I know I can deal more with those type homes. If they're just coming out on the market, they're brand new, then they're probably not willing to deal, and I'm looking for deals. So here are my saved searches. So when I look at my saved searches, I got searches. This particular search is for Midwest City properties, 80 to 150,000. This one is for this zip code 73132, right? This one is for the zip code 731. So I got my favorite areas that I like to look in. This one is Norman. And so if I look at these properties, these will all be Norman properties, single family homes. So it'll come up with the ones that are just new or that prices change on them. So I'll get to see real quick if something's changed. So this is one of my saved homes. If it's got a star, it's got a heart on it, that means I've already saved it and I'm looking at it. Right. So these are just another area where you can go and you can find homes. And I'm looking for properties that's been on Zillow a long time, right? Here's some pre-foreclosed properties that I'll be looking at, right? If I want to go and try to deal directly with the owner, it's been in pre-foreclosure, I can look at those properties also. You see some of these properties been on here 410, 299 days. You know, a lot of times it's because they're in negotiation with the owner, right? And they've negotiated, maybe the owner paid a little bit of what they owe and they let them stay a little bit longer. Or it could be that they're having problems, like right now, they're unable to foreclose on anybody. So we're in forbearance. So a lot of these properties can't be foreclosed on. And as long as the government says you can't foreclose them, they'll just stay out there in pre-foreclosure. So those are just some of the things. And see, I got a total of 65 homes that I have saved on this particular Zillow search that I have. So any questions? I think there's one other one I want to go to. Let's go to auctions.com. Let's see, auctions.com. That's Daykill Auctions. Hold on. So there's a lot of different. Daykill Auctions is here in a local Oklahoma City auction house, and they also sell properties. See if here we go, auctions.com. Here. And so again, you got to go in and you have to register to be able to bid on these properties. This is strictly an online auction. So everything is online. Let's look at one here in Oklahoma City. There's a property on and it'll tell you when it's scheduled for the auction. Here's the resale value. They even tell you what it can possibly be rented for. Gives you details about, see, it says it's got 7 photos. So let's look at the photos on this property. So they'll give you some photos of the property. This looks like a pretty nice property, pretty nice neighborhood. So let's go back and look at some details on this property. It doesn't show baths or beds. We could probably go find that somewhere else. But what we're looking for is the date of the auction. So this is not scheduled to go to auction until November the 19th. So you can't even bid on it until the 19th. So prior to then, they'll probably go ahead and put in the beds and baths. So you'll have some good information about this property. Looks like it's occupied. It's telling you don't disturb the tenants. Don't go up there and say, hey, your stuff's up for auction. We want to buy it. Don't do that. But you have to go in and you have to put all your information down. You actually have to put a deposit down. They'll actually let you hold it with a credit card. But again, in 30 days, if you bid on these properties and you win in 30 days, you got to come to the table with the money or you're going to lose your deposit, all right? So it's got a lot of good information on here. It even gives you local comps for properties that's selling in those areas. So you can see these properties, what they're selling for. It's got a property information report. Let's see if they got any information. A lot of times they'll go in and they'll inspect and they'll tell you, here's some of the things that they found. Let's see if they got anything on this report. So here it is. They're saying the estimated resale value is 176. What the county taxes are. They give you some market analysis stuff. Or here, I'm usually looking to see if they have anything about repairs. That, you know, that stuff right there don't really help me. I want to know if there's something. And a lot of times they'll have that, but looks like they don't have it on this one yet. So up here at the top, you got the property details, right? And then you got the market stuff. All good information, but again, you won't get to go inside this house and look at it before you bid on it. You'll just be able to drive by it, and you get to use this information that's right here on the site. Any questions? So we covered a lot of stuff tonight, but there's a plethora of property out there. If you're a wholesaler, there's certain sites you go to. If you just want property that needs a little cosmetic surgery, then there's other places that you go. You can go to Zillow, you can go here. A lot of times these properties is up to auction. They're in pretty good shape. You don't have to do a lot. So there you go. Questions, comments, feedback.
How long do you watch something like this before you make an offer? Because I see 286 people are looking at this and watching this.
I'll probably, if I was going to bid on it, I'm going to wait till it gets down to the end. Me and Johnny had talked about this before. You can go ahead and make a bid, but your bids, what you want to do is wait for like an hour before before the auction is going to end. And then you start bidding on it if you want the property and see how many people are there at the end bidding on it. And a lot of times, what you do, if you wait right before the auction get ready to end, looks like it's getting ready to end, you put in a bid, the auction will give more time. Now they'll add on another 5 or 10 minutes because your bid has upped the last bid. And so they'll keep doing that and they'll keep giving you time. They'll say the bid's about to run out. 1 minute, 2 minutes, it's going to be over. If you put in a bid, then the clock will start over again like 5 or 10 minutes.
And I would add to that, Darren, like Ray talked about earlier, make sure if you're serious, like go ahead and bid something, because I've been able to get a home by being second and third place. The people that actually won the actual auction was unable to produce the funds within the 30 days. And I got a call out of the blue and I'm like, oh, you know, you bidded on this and are you still wanting to buy or purchase? So sometimes you find properties that they're just really, the banks are trying to get off their hands.
Let's see what properties in Oklahoma City is going to be up. These are properties that's going to be in auction. Oklahoma City, here's the auction, here's the date, here's the time the bidding is going to start. You got the bedrooms, the bath, the square footage estimated, and they even tell you what the opening bid is going to be. Like this one shows the resale value is $146,000, but they're opening the bid at $35,000, which tells me it probably needs some work. Let's look at it. See if they got any good pictures we can look at here. They only got one picture. That's it. So it's 2 bed, 1 bath. It's only 839 square feet. I don't know where they got that resale value, 146,000. You know, again, buyer beware. You got to do your own homework on these deals. So you see here, we got quite a few properties up for bid in Oklahoma City here. A lot of these start November the 19th. Some of these are going to be at the sheriff's sale, so you got to look. So right here it says foreclosure in person. That means that's going to be a sheriff's sale. So let's look at one that says, so these are all in person right here. So this is bank owned, and this is going to be online. So you can do this one online at Royal Lane. So again, these are in person. So these are probably ones that I showed you up for the sheriff's sale that's going to be coming up on the 19th. So if we go back to the sheriff's sale, let's go back over there. So if I go back to the sheriff's sale and I look at the 19th, those properties are going to be over here, right? So they're at the sheriff's sale, but they're going to be live. They're not going to be done online. So you make sure you look at that. Again, this is going to be down at the county in person. You got to be down there to bid on them. Then you look for ones that are going to be just online. This one here at the end, it's going to be online, so you can bid on this one online. Sometimes they'll say no buyer's premium. That means the buyer hadn't put really a low number on it. They're just going to start the opening bid at whatever they say the opening bid is. So we got quite a few of these are just going to be sold down at the sheriff's sale. And there's a few of them. Again, here's another one. It's going to be online. Any questions? All right, we're getting close to time. Hopefully, you guys have learned some stuff about, if you want to buy wholesale, you want to buy market, here's where you go, baby. Here's the sites. Most of the work you can do is online before you ever go out and look at a property. Do your research online. You'll save yourself a lot of time and money and energy. We have any questions in the chat room here? Let's chat. Okay, I don't see any other questions. All right, we're about to wrap it up one more time. Get out there and look at some properties, baby. Make some offers, do some deals. And before I leave, very important, make sure if you haven't already voted, I need to make sure you get out and let your voice be heard by voting for whoever your candidate is. Just vote. All right, we're done. Hope you guys have a great day. Get out there and vote. Let's make change happen with us. Have a great day. See you guys later.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Ray.
See you.
Did you want this here?